Welcome to the Smart Business Show, episode 14. Today we're going to talk about productivity and productivity tools a little bit. This is prompted from a reader called James, and he sent me in a question via my AMA form, which you can find on my site. And it basically said, I found an old review of OmniFocus that you did, and what are you using now? He's less than happy and he wants to use it in a different way. So my first thought is that we get way too focused on the tools. If you are unproductive in OmniFocus, then it is likely it is probably not the fault of OmniFocus that you're unproductive. It is easy to look at the flaw in our tool, say, oh, this tool doesn't do A for me or B for me or X, and I'm just going to find a new tool, and then I'm going to totally be productive. And that's a lie. You're probably not. You're just making up some reason about it or some excuse, and who cares? So what you really need to do is get productive. You can use any tool poorly, or you can keep doing those same crappy things with your new tool. Second, don't mistake productivity for effectiveness. So I have talked about this in a few posts. I've at least hinted at it. I think this is the first time I'm really going to tackle it in depth. But way too many of us say, oh, I've got all these tasks and I checked off 10 tasks today, so good. But like, if your task is tying your shoes, who cares? First of all, like, that doesn't even matter. Yes, we're going to tie our shoes every day. That's a routine. Probably put on underpants too. Great. Good for you. You were like an adult. Awesome. But even more than that, I focus on just checking tasks off and calling that productivity. It is not. I guess it is, but so that's why I actually don't have a productivity category on my site. I have an effective or effectiveness category. Because being effective is using the limited time we have on the things that yield the most results for us. So even right now, there's a myriad of things I could be doing, and I'm recording this video. So this video is going to allow me to reach, hundreds of people. I've got, a couple hundred people subscribed to the YouTube channel where this goes, and I've got, I get I think about 1,000 downloads a month on this as a podcast, plus the people that come to my site to see it. So this is an effective use of my time. I could have only written to James, replied to one email, and said that was productive. I checked it off, but it wasn't really effective because I'm going to have to write this email again. I'm going to have to talk about this again. And instead of that, I can actually point someone to my site, say, hey, I talked about this before, about my tools. And again, even further than that, when we're working on client projects, are good. They bring in the income. They certainly bring in the bulk of my income. And as my wife and I look at me taking some extra work because we have, potentially multi-$1,000 portion to fix on our house. Plus, we're trying to sell the house. Plus, we need a better down payment, and on and on and on. As we look at that and say, oh, let's take some extra projects. That is good in the short term. Taking on some extra projects gives you more money today. Sometimes that's what you need. Nothing wrong with that. But if I take that time where I would be working early or working late and put it into something else, like a plugin I'm going to release for WP e-commerce, then that is more effective. That allows me to take a week off in July and have some income coming in, right? As opposed to, I get money today, but then when I take a week off in July, I got, very little coming in because I don't have other products out there. And so we really need to define what is the most effective use of your time. You may find like after 9 o'clock, I'm almost totally useless. 9 o'clock at night, I don't even bother working on client stuff. I'd rather get up at 4. That's when I'm effective. I am not effective after 9 o'clock. Now, the big things I see people do to sabotage their effectiveness or their productivity is focusing on the wrong things, which I already talked about. The second thing is not having a practice of planning their week or their day. Some people say this doesn't work for them, and that's fine. Most of the people that I talk to when we talk about how they plan it, what it is, they wrote something out, they put something on a calendar, and they didn't follow it all. And they said, oh, it totally didn't work for me. Well, of course it didn't. You never did it. It's not the people, most of the people that I talk to are not the type that said, I tried it, I worked on this for a few months, and I just found that it didn't mesh with my personality. That may be what they're saying, but when you dig down, they didn't actually do it. They just kind of half-assed it and said, that didn't work for me. It's like following some budgeting plan and sort of half budgeting for 3 months and saying, well, I didn't save any money. We only half budgeted. You still used your credit card all the time. You went out for dinner 22 times. Like, of course, you didn't. It didn't work for you. You set it up for failure. And then the final thing that I see a lot of people do is they don't review their tasks or what they're going to do in a week in light of their yearly and quarterly goals. So I see me glance up and I have a 6 foot by 3 foot calendar up here by New Year, Neuyear. And on this, I have my vacations booked out. I have like when my in-laws are coming. I have big important dates like that. There's almost nothing. There's nothing for clients actually up here. And I have like where I'm going to review my quarterly goals. I have what else? Holidays, stuff like that. That's what I have up here. And on every month, I have what my goal is for the month. And so I'm actually going to be a bit behind because a little bit on totally on my part, not a little bit, but on my part because I didn't get to the book cover for my next book called Effective Client Email fast enough. And so that means I can't get it till basically a month after I really need it. Now, that's not my book designer's problem. That's who I would like to use still. That's my problem. But that puts me kind of a month behind. So I'm kind of jumping ahead and doing this plugin for WP e-commerce. But I can see each month what my goal for the month is. And every time I look at, what I'm doing right now, I can say, what is my goal? Am I going to achieve this goal? So I know in April, I'm going to release product 2, which will be the WP e-commerce plugin. In May, I'll probably actually release another plugin again. In June, I have a review for the month or review for my year coming up. And I want to set up 4 masterminds because I'm planning in May to go out to a conference on becoming a better business coach, how to run it as a business properly, because I still need to learn that. And then actually in June, I'll start playing out the rest of the last 6 months of my year as far as my big goals are going. This Friday, tomorrow, which will be April 3rd, I'm going to sit down with my mastermind group and review my whole yearly goals and see how far I am. What am I doing? How do I need to change them? How do I need to work harder or not harder? How do we need to be more effective to actually accomplish those goals? That's the whole goal for probably an almost 2-hour call tomorrow to really make sure that I am on track with my goals and to see how I can modify them or how I need to modify what I'm doing to hit them. And those are the things people don't do. They put some goals up at January. They never look at them again until next January. And then they go, I didn't really accomplish anything, but you never focused on it. The term is the grass is always greener on the other side, but the grass is always greener where you spend time watering it. So if you spend time watering everything but your goals, working on everything but your actual goals, of course you're never going to accomplish them. And it's absolutely retarded to think you would. So that's my idea on productivity tools or effectiveness tools, I suppose. Don't just jump to a new tool. Actually, put a plan together. Be effective with your days. Look at your goals. Make sure that each week you're progressing closer to your goals for the year. And stick with it. Don't just half-ass it and say, oh, I did this new routine that someone said. No, you didn't. Most often you half-assed it. Thanks for watching.